Imagine our beautiful Earth. It is a giant spinning top in space. Every single day, it completes one full turn. This spin is called rotation. It gives us our sunrise in the morning and our sunset in the evening. We are all moving incredibly fast right now, even if we are sitting perfectly still. At the equator, the widest part of our planet, Earth is spinning at about 1,600 kilometers per hour. That's faster than most airplanes can fly. We don't feel this incredible speed because everything around us is moving right along with us. It's like being in a car on a smooth highway. You don't feel the speed until you look out the window. Now, let's do a wild thought experiment. What if, in an instant, our planet just stopped? Imagine a cosmic brake was suddenly slammed, and Earth's rotation came to a screeching halt. One moment, we are all spinning along together, part of a perfectly choreographed cosmic dance. The next moment, the planet beneath our feet is completely still. It would be the single most catastrophic event in the history of our world. The first thing you would notice is an unimaginable jolt, because the solid Earth has stopped, but everything on its surface has not. Think about what happens when a fast-moving car suddenly stops. Anything not strapped down goes flying forward, right? Now imagine that on a planetary scale. Everything that isn't bedrock, people would be launched sideways, animals would be launched sideways, trees would be launched sideways, buildings would be launched sideways, even the top layer of soil and rock would be launched sideways. We would all be sent tumbling and scraping across the ground at that incredible speed. It would be a global catastrophe unlike any other. This sudden, violent stop would instantly scour the surface of the Earth clean. Nothing would be left standing. The sheer force of this momentum would create a destructive wave that would sweep across the entire globe, demolishing cities and leveling mountains in its path. The planet's surface would be fundamentally reshaped in a matter of minutes. The world as we know it, with its bustling cities and quiet forests, would simply cease to exist. This is just the beginning of the chaos that a motionless Earth would bring. After the initial chaos, a new and strange reality would set in. Our concept of a day and a night would be gone forever. Our 24-hour cycle is a direct result of Earth spinning on its axis once per day, but now our planet is still. It's not completely motionless in space though. It would still be orbiting the sun, completing one full trip every year. This means a day on our new static Earth would last for an entire year. One side of the planet would face the sun, and the other side would face the cold darkness of space. Think about what that means. For 6 solid months, one half of the world would experience unending daylight. The sun would rise in the sky, climb to its highest point over 3 months, and then slowly sink back toward the horizon over the next 3 months. There would be no night, no twilight, and no break from the constant, unrelenting sunlight. Imagine trying to sleep when the sun is always shining brightly outside your window for weeks and months on end. This endless day would be a completely alien experience for any life that managed to survive the initial stop. On the opposite side of the planet, the situation would be just as extreme, but in a totally different way. That hemisphere would be plunged into a night that also lasts for 6 long months. For half a year, there would be no sunlight at all. The only light would come from the moon and the distant stars, shining down on a frozen dark landscape. This would be a darkness deeper and longer than any polar winter we experience today. The world would be trapped in a perpetual midnight, a silent and incredibly cold abyss that stretches from one horizon to the other. This new, year-long day-night cycle would create a world of 2 extremes. There would be the sun-scorched hemisphere and the frozen night hemisphere. In between these 2 zones, there would be a narrow strip of land, a twilight zone, where the sun would always be near the horizon, either perpetually rising or perpetually setting. This thin band would be the only place where temperatures might be somewhat manageable, a slim sliver of dusk or dawn separating the lands of eternal day and eternal night. Life on this new Earth would be a constant battle against these new harsh realities. The 6-month day and 6-month night would have a dramatic and devastating effect on global temperatures. Let's start with the side of the Earth facing the sun. For half a year, it would be baked by the sun's continuous direct rays. Without the cooling relief of nighttime, temperatures would climb to unimaginable heights. Water in lakes, water in rivers, even the oceans would begin to boil away. The land would become a scorching desert, hotter than any desert we have on Earth today. Temperatures could easily soar well above 100 degrees Celsius, the boiling point of water. This extreme heat would make the sunlit side of the planet completely uninhabitable. The ground would crack and turn to dust. Any plants that survived the initial jolt would quickly wither and burn under the intense solar radiation. The landscape would be a barren, blistered wasteland, stripped of all moisture and life. It would be a world of fire, where the very air shimmers with heat and the ground is too hot to touch. Survival in this furnace-like environment would be impossible for any form of life that we know. Even though the solid Earth has stopped spinning, the atmosphere has not, the oceans have not. Remember that incredible momentum? The air would continue to move, water would continue to move at around 1,600 kilometers per hour. This would create the most powerful winds and the largest tsunamis the world has ever seen. The atmosphere would become a global superstorm, a hurricane wrapping the planet. These winds would erode the surface of the Earth, sandblasting rock, scouring the continents down to their foundations. These superwinds would also create a massive transfer of heat. Hot air from the sunlit side would be violently pulled toward the frigid dark side. This would create a colossal weather system. Imagine a constant planet-wide storm in the twilight zone between hot and cold hemispheres. This area would be battered by unbelievable winds, torrential rains of boiling water, and blizzards of frozen gases. The weather would be more violent than anything we can imagine. A permanent war between fire and ice. The oceans would be just as chaotic. Massive tsunamis, kilometers high, would surge across the globe carrying water from the continents, reshaping coastlines. These waves would travel at incredible speeds, washing over everything before sloshing back and forth between the hot and cold sides. Over time, the water would begin to migrate. Much of the ocean would boil away on the hot side, travel as vapor to the cold side, and freeze there. What would all of this mean for life on Earth? In short, it would mean the end. The initial event, being flung across the surface at supersonic speeds, would cause an immediate mass extinction event, wiping out almost all land-dwelling animals and humans. Very few, if any, complex life forms could survive being thrown at over 1,000 kilometers per hour. Buildings, forests, entire ecosystems would be obliterated in an instant. Our planet's spin is not just a neat feature, it is a fundamental pillar of our existence. It gives us the stable, predictable rhythm of day and night. And then, slowly, Earth begins to spin again.